Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here with an update on the Pacific Ocean conditions and how it may relate to the upcoming winter weather outlook. We issued our winter weather outlook about a month ago, and it can be seen on the seasonal forecast section of the siweather.com. This is the latest map from NOAA for the sea surface temperature anomalies. Here we have the blues representing below normal temperatures, and La Nina continues here in the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean. It's a relatively weak La Nina, but I expect it'll continue to strengthen slightly over the next few months. During the winter months, I expect a weak to moderate La Nina. Meanwhile, farther to the north here, we have well below normal temperatures off the west coast of the U.S., and just to the west of that, we have warmer than normal sea surface temperatures. This is the classic signature of a negative PDO, a negative Pacific Decadal Oscillation that we talked about in the winter weather outlook. So again, we have the continuation of the La Nina over the equatorial Pacific and negative PDO in the northern part of the Pacific. Now, one of the things we talked about was the expectation of an east-based La Nina for the upcoming winter and how that would affect our potential temperature anomalies for the upcoming winter. Why is that important? Why is an east-based La Nina critical to determine as compared to a west-based La Nina? Well, NOAA has put together a couple of composite temperature anomaly charts for west-based La Nina conditions as compared to east-based La Nina conditions. This, in fact, is showing a west-based La Nina, and what you have is way above normal temperatures for the winter based on this kind of a condition, whether it's west-based or east-based. In this particular case, you probably have a lot of winters with high-pressure ridge here in the southeastern part of the country, just producing mild conditions throughout the eastern half of the nation. So this is quite different from what an east-based La Nina looks like. Let's now jump ahead and take a look at that. Well, here's the temperature composite anomaly chart for an east-based La Nina condition, and the colder air is much, much farther to the south and east, basically over 3/4 of the nation, with that southeastern ridge confined to the southeastern part of the country, and here in the mid-Atlantic region, anywhere from near normal to slightly below normal, from D.C. all the way up through New York, and then a little colder than normal up into New England. The coldest scenario seems to be setting up for the northern plains if in fact you have an east-based La Nina condition. And again, this is quite different from the west-based La Nina condition. Now, I continue to expect east-based La Nina, and one of the reasons why is what's going on in the Pacific right now compared to the last few weeks. Let's jump ahead and take a look at that. Well, if you actually look at the magnitude of the sea surface temperature anomalies, right now we have the greatest difference from normal is in the east or central part of the equatorial Pacific right now. Here's the west coast of South America right here, and as low as negative 1.5 degrees right here is the maximum anomaly right here. So again, most of the coldest temperatures relative to normal are in the central or eastern part of the Pacific Ocean right now, and perhaps more important than that, what's going on right now is the trend that has occurred over the last few weeks. Let's take a look at that right now. Well, here's the trend for the last 4 weeks in the Pacific Ocean, and this particular area right here is where the biggest change in temperatures on the negative side has occurred over the last 4 weeks. In other words, in the central or eastern part of the Pacific, this area is where the greatest drop in temperatures relative to normal has occurred over the last 4 weeks. So all of this spells out to me a continuation of the expectation of a east-based La Nina, perhaps east to central-based La Nina over the upcoming winter months. The greatest change in temperatures right now has continued to occur in the eastern part of the tropical Pacific. So that should continue to be the expectation for the winter months. We'll monitor this over the next few weeks. That's it for now. I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.